Hi everyone, welcome to Painting with Rachel. It's so funny, I am always desperate to find somebody to paint with me because I love to paint and because I love to be with people all the time. So I'm really excited that you're here and that you're gonna paint with me. Okay, so we started off watercolor with these tutorials online called Let's Make Art, and they do an oath at the beginning of every class, every tutorial, and I'm gonna do it with you because I love it. All right, so you raise your right hand and you say, I promise to be kind to myself. I promise not to compare my work, and I promise to have fun. Yay! Okay, let's get started. We're gonna paint, that's not a good example. We're gonna paint something like this. Don't look at that. I was practicing lettering. I've practiced it several times. In your kit, you have the card. You have the little wax paper colors. A few things about those colors. They're dry. That's cool. You just put water on them and they reconstitute. So like I would use the wax paper palette that I made, but I put some of that same paint in my little palette that I use here, and I don't want to waste paint. So I'm going to use my little palette, but I don't know if you can see or see. It's dry, just like yours will be. So I'm just gonna, you just get it wet. Works just fine. All right, I actually have my little card on some other watercolor paper. Actually, I'm gonna flip it over because that's not the good side. Ooh, don't look at my bad tornado. That was just practice. It's a tornado that kind of looks like a bubble or something. I'll try again. So this is the brush that you have. These are the paints that you have. Oh, the blue, I don't know, something about that blue paint, you guys, just flaked right off that paper. Everything else seemed to stay. So a lot of you in your kits, I tried to tape the blue down. If the blue has fallen off your paper, look in your envelope, it might be in there, you'll need it. Something was weird with the blue. So I've got my paint, I've got my water and my brush. Gonna be like that. I've got my, I don't like it. Okay. And I'm gonna, you might wanna grab a napkin or a paper towel or toilet paper, or if you're wearing old pants, you just use your pants like I do sometimes. That's not a good idea. You'll want something to blot your paint. All right, so in our example, we have 3 basic flowers and then some greenery. So the first thing you're gonna do is take a pencil. If you have one, you can do this, you can sketch it out. If you don't have a pencil handy, you don't have to sketch it out. I've even seen some people just sketch with a little really light wash of paint. You could do that. I'm not gonna do that here, but you can. Okay, so I'm gonna draw just, all we wanna do is put in where we're gonna put these flowers, the basic idea. And it's just a big circle and then 2 little circles. Whew. You want them touching. Now, you take your red, and again, it's dry. And we're gonna mix colors a little bit because this is a really bright red. And bright red is cool. If you like bright red, use it as is. I'll kind of show you. So I'm gonna get my brush wet. I'm gonna kind of get some red paint. That's just the red, how it is, which is cool. It's great. I'm gonna, you can add a little bit of yellow to that red and get like a more orangey red. Whew. Some dry paint on there. A little orange, you can get like an orangey red. That didn't have a ton of yellow in it, but like that. What I am gonna do, you can add, here's some red. You can add some of your black to it and get kind of like a maroon red. That's a good, it's just like a little bit of a desaturated dark red, which I think is very pretty. Or I think I might take a little bit of my red and put like the tiniest bit of blue. Now again, like I've given y'all a ton of paint. You could probably paint like a ton of flowers with, that's a little bit purple. So you just kind of sit here and mess with it until you find a color that you're happy with. And that's kind of the fun. So I think I'm gonna go with, that's really similar, but it has a little bit of a purple undertone. So I think that's pretty. All right, and before you start on your card, I'm gonna just go over the basic shape of the rose. So you have a circle. If we're gonna do like, I don't know, and this one you can kind of see. This rose is kind of pointing off that direction. This rose is face on, and this rose is pointing off that direction. So I'll just show you kind of in general how we do the rose. It's so easy, you guys, don't overthink. If we're gonna do one starting in the middle, so that's just what I'll show you guys in an example right now. A little C, or a little curved line, another curved line, another curved line, kind of around. Okay, and we're just gonna keep going like that, around and around and around until we get to the outside layer. As you go, as you get further out, your little dashes should get longer and lighter and further apart. So I'll show you what I mean. So now it's starting to get a little bit bigger, a little bit further apart. My brush is starting to get dry. I'm not even gonna put more paint on it. I'm just gonna dip it. I'm gonna dip it in my water. Gonna kind of tap it on the side and keep going. See, now I have a lighter color. And I'm gonna start making them longer. I might need a little bit more paint. I'm gonna start making them a little bit longer. A little bit bigger. Okay, now you just kind of, you really feel like I need a better place for that. There you go, I guess it could be there. Take your brush, clean it, and then just kind of go in and mess it up just a little bit with water. Okay, now that's that. When it dries, we will go back in and add another layer so that there's some contrast. You can see in this example here in this rose where there's like lighter, and we've gone back to put in some darker, and it really adds. Okay, so it's wet now, so it will not work, but I'll just kind of show you the general idea. Kind of put in some darker values. Again, don't do it when it's wet like this, because as you see, it's just kind of running. But again, I'm not overthinking it. I'm not stressing. I can go back in and do another layer. Whatever. All right, so let's start on our card. Okay, I had a technical difficulty, so I had to take a pause, but now I like that you can see, because this flower is more dry, where you can go in now and kind of do exactly what we just did, but like don't do it all, just a few places where you could add some darker color, and then you just mess it up. And if you don't love how it's turning out, my advice is to wait. Let it dry, come back to it, and see how you're feeling about it then. Nice. seriously, anything that's like round shaped that has a center somewhere is gonna come off as a flower, so no stress. All right, again, like I said, technical difficulty. I'm going to sketch in where I want my flowers. Okay, as you can see in the pictures, like that maybe? There we go. It's pointing off to the side. So instead of having our center in the center, we're gonna have, if this is your circle, we're gonna start it, you know, a third of the way in. And then you just build up the sides exactly the same. You just don't build up that side as much. And that's gonna give us some visual interest, so it's not just like 3 flowers that are like bam, bam, bam. They're kind of pointing different ways. All right. Okay, I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna just very like loosely, I am not stressing about this. The more you worry about it, the less you're gonna like it, I promise. As I go out, I'm gonna get bigger and lighter. And in watercolor, we don't have white. Well, we do. It's not like great. So the paper is the white. The paper is the highlight. So you want to make sure that you are leaving plenty of white spaces here. Because if everything is just like the same color, that's boring. Like I said, I do not know things about watercolor except that I have been painting like every day for months because I'm just obsessed with it. All right, I think that's pretty good. Next flower. I'm at 18 minutes. I'll cut some of this stuff out. I gotta get moving. All right, next flower is gonna face that way. So same thing. Now this one is, since it's kind of the side of the flower, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Not too crazy different, but I'm just gonna kind of really mess that up. So it's kind of more of like a side, you know, like one-ish petal or a couple of petals, and not like this, because you're not looking at the center of the flower, you're kind of looking at the side of the flower. Okay. Okay, we can always come back and add more. Okay, next flower. This one is looking right at you. So, just like we did here. Okay, just around, kind of like in a pattern like bricks would be, so it's not, you know, all the same. Okay. There you have it. 3 gorgeous roses. I don't want to mess it up too much because I like the white spaces that I have going on here. Another kind of technique is I want a little bit of darkness here at the bottom of this one. So I'm going to take it, and while it's still wet, I am just going to add some in. Sure, baby. Hang on. No. Okay. Let me just add a little bit in there. Okay. I like it. Next step. Leaves. You guys, these are so fun. Okay. So I did not give you a green because I wanted to give you a black because I wanted you to be able to play with the red, like different tones of red. And I also wanted you to be able to play with like lettering if you want. Like here, I was gonna write Merry Christmas, but that felt like a lot of letters, so I wrote Noel. Anyway, so because I wanted to give you black, I didn't give you green, but who needs green when you have blue and yellow? Tip. Anyway, okay, got some yellow. Good. Now I'm gonna take like tiny dabs of blue and just build up that green color slowly. Oh, well, that wasn't that slow. There it is. Green. All right. Before we work on our postcard, I'm going to show you the technique we're going to use for leaves. Brush, and you know, like when we paint, like when we were painting our roses, we were using a lot of side of the brush. Right now we're going to go straight up and down and draw. Again, I'm not going to do it on my postcard yet because we're going to practice here. We just as light of pressure as you possibly can and as straight up and down as you possibly can. Just like this. All right, and the technique for the leaves is so fun, and I feel like you guys can do this. I feel like I can do this. All right, straight up and down. You're gonna start line. You're gonna smush down, and then you're gonna pick back up. So if you have some scratch paper, I would just practice that a couple of times. You're gonna start like a tiny little line. That's like the stem. Smush. And then back up. Smush, and then back up. All right, so here we go. And we're just gonna do that all up and down the stem. So here, and you know what? I feel like this needs to be a bit darker. So I am going to, come on, yellow, help me out. I got too much blue in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of black. Not like a ton. A little bit of black goes a long way, you guys. All right, there we go. It's kind of like a fun army green now. Whew, okay. I don't know if you notice, I am doing a lot of like, especially when I want a thin line and I want a lot of control. When I have my paintbrush on my palette, I get it saturated with paint and a lot of water. I get it with the paint and the water, and then I kind of tap it in circles like this, but on my palette, and make sure there's not like big beads of water at the end, and make sure there's not too much paint. Just get a sense of how much paint and how much water is on the brush, and it also like kind of dabbing it, turning it and dabbing it on your palette will help make that tip really sharp so you can get a nice thin line. All right, there we go. In the middle of the two little guys here, I'm gonna just go out and I'm gonna go out. Woo. All right, and I was gonna show you guys, like I've painted a bunch of these. This is not all of them that I've painted, and they're all different. So yours is going to look different from mine. It's going to look different from the other gals in your group. That's part of the fun. And we promise not to compare our work before. And we promise to have fun. And we promise to be kind to ourselves. All right. So I'm going to just do this. Here we go. Little line, smush down, up. Woo. I'm going to go more out. That one was kind of like a little more in than I wanted. Ooh, that one doesn't have a nice stem like I wanted. Guess what? None of it will matter. Nobody's gonna notice. I'm gonna do one out here. Okay, down here. Smush out. Little line, smush, and then out. Yeah. Woo. Okay, dropped my brush. Little line, smush, out. Okay, I'm gonna do that to my other one. I got a bunch of stuff going on there, so, okay, might just do it like here. Okay, little line, smush, out. Oops, that one was fat line. Cool. We're embracing it. I feel like 2020 has taught us all, even if we weren't good at it before, to just kind of go with it. Too fat a line? Oh well. Alrighty. Now, let's do another one kind of here at the top, going out that way. Here. This is the, I will put this here, or here. I don't know if you can see that in the shot or not. Okay, going out this way. Woo. Okay, some more leafies. Some more leafies. Woo. These ones are a little bit different looking. But I like it. I like the look. Okay. I'm not doing the smushing up thing so much because I just felt like there wasn't a ton of space. So I just did it a little different. And that's fine too. Another fun thing, if you want a little bit of variation, you can get your brush kind of wet and get a little bit of blue. You can kind of drop some blue in if you like. I'm not gonna do it too much, just like maybe at the base. All right. We have, I think, just a few more of those types of leaves. So like this. Okay, again, I'm gonna remind myself. Yep, there we go. Okay, I might just water my paint down a little bit so it's a tiny bit lighter. Okay, out, tiny, smush up. Ooh. It's a little bit hard in this small of space to use that leaf technique, so I kind of am just doing more. You can kind of draw a leaf shape. And if you don't like that, try your swoosh method again. Line, smush, out. Oh, such a pretty leaf. Line, smush, out. I'm gonna try that over here. Line, smush, out. Line, smush, out. Smush, something. Okay, pretty. Okay, we're gonna do this one last one here. Line, smush, out. Now, you can see I am painting on that rose. Watercolor is transparent, so you're not gonna go completely on top of, like, it's not gonna completely cover the red. Also, make sure that it's dry if you're gonna do that. Just painting leaves. So relaxing, guys. Somebody in Mops got me hooked on Outlander. It's like my favorite show. But then I got to a point where, like, how many times through can a person watch Outlander? I don't know. And so now I'm listening to the books on Audible. And I like to listen to Outlander and paint. And it's like my, like, calming thing that I do. All right. So we've got those leaves in. Now might be a good time to go back and darken up any areas on our roses if we like. Shall I do it? I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's like good, but then I'm like, I should go back and mess with it, and then I end up not liking it. It's always a risk. I'm just gonna add like a few more dark areas. Yeah, I like that. Okay. I swear, you guys, you can't mess this up. Ooh. Well. And if you do, who cares? It's paper. You had a fun time doing it. Trash it. Like, if you don't like it, doesn't matter. My feelings aren't hurt. I'm gonna darken up this one too. Here we go. All right. I like that. Next is, oh, these pretty leaves. So we're gonna do these leaves next. They're so pretty, and I'm gonna show you what I did. So I lightened up my green a little bit, put a little bit more yellow in it. Oops. Ah, now I've got too much blue, dang it. More yellow. Okay. And then I think I have like line. I'm gonna do my big smush. I'm gonna do up. And then I'm just gonna kind of do the same thing, but to make it a little bit wider. And then, this is so fun, you guys. I'm gonna take just plain yellow and make sure my brush is pretty wet. And I'm just gonna drop in some yellow. Now it might look like, you might be like, that looks stupid, that looks like polka dots or whatever. As it dries, because it's real wet, it'll be more like that, which is a really cool look. When you're painting, this is something I've learned, not like I'm like again, the more variation in value, lights and darks, the more interesting your painting is. Okay, so we're gonna do another one. So see, in this one, I had two of those guys right there. I'm not sure that we need to right there. All right. So maybe if you feel like it can handle another one, do it. If you feel like not, don't do it. I'm gonna do one that's like up here, kind of off to the side. Pretty. Make it a little bit bigger. I'm gonna get my brush pretty wet. I'm gonna get some yellow. And I'm just gonna drop it in. Okay. One more, I think. I have one right here. See, that one, it didn't get as nice of values changed. And it's not as fun. So, I'm dropping a little white, yellow, white. All right. Okay, now we're gonna be onto our like pine or cedar, the little evergreen thingies. Okay, and they're gonna be so little and so cute. I'm gonna darken, oops, that's black. I'm gonna darken up my green a little bit because remember we had it like real light and yellow. Darken up my green, put a little black in there. That's a really nice green. Okay, and I'm gonna do real up and down and real light pressure. I'm gonna kind of just, and maybe, oh, and then maybe like, yeah, maybe like that. See? Oops. And then I'm kind of gonna just like make it have little lines. Like so. It's like fur. This, okay, we could totally call these the fir branches. Not because they're fir like the type of tree, they could be, but because they're furry. Okay. Really light pressure. And just kind of make it furry. Cute. I think I had one. Oh, well, maybe we'll put one up here. And you can overlap. I think I will. Okay. And make it furry. This one's a little bit easier because it's a little bit bigger. Okay. Bam. Okay. Try to leave, I'm not like doing the best job of it, but try to leave some white space in there so it's not just like one big glob of green, right? So like, whew, that one is basically one big glob of green, but so I'm gonna go back in and kind of add some little things. Okay, pretty. And some over here. Where I kind of had it like three, like a three fur, whoosh. And maybe like so. I don't want them all the same, size or height. That would look weird. Okay. And fur it up. I was thinking about doing this tutorial live, and then we could like ask questions and we could chit chat. And then I was like, but if I do it live, I can't watch everybody else's videos and dance and ask Mandy questions and stuff. And I don't want to miss out on that. But now I'm regretting it a little bit because I feel like I'm just talking to myself and nobody needs to hear all the things that go on in there. It's a scary place in there. Well, not scary so much as just busy. There's a lot. Which is one thing I like about painting. It's just something that engages your mind. Because I don't really have that many things that like fully engage my mind, especially not in my life in its current iteration, like I'm constantly stressed out about doing my dishes and my laundry, but it's not like interesting to me. And so I just find myself, again, y'all don't need to hear about all that. Okay. Next step, I think we're getting pretty close, you guys. Yes. So I'm going to go back to my red. I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to get some red, and we're going to put in our little sprays. And you guys can probably tell from that picture. Y'all, those are just like scribbles. So we're going to put some up here. Now, your brain is going to want to make you put them like in some sort of pattern. Do not do this. I promise. Like, if you are like, find yourself getting in some sort of pattern, fight it. It will look better, not like messed up a little bit. Because that's not like, things in nature aren't like in rose, but our brains just, our precious little human selves just want to do it so bad. So I'm just gonna like, see? Maybe like that. Woo, this is tight down here. Let's see. See, I've got 3 right there in a row. Maybe if I like. Okay. And over here. Oh, I don't want to be careful. Do you see, like, I don't know. This is probably very obvious, intuitive, but, so like if I'm going to paint here, I turn my card so that my sleeve doesn't get in what's wet. Okay, just like a few. Okay. Now I have to let it dry because if I don't, it'll run. So, is there anything else? It's a really good time to kind of go over your painting and see, like, is there anything I'm not happy with? Is there anything that I would like to fix? I'm gonna kind of, I don't like love how these leaves turned out. So I'm gonna kind of go back and see if I can't create some better shape there. That one, I think that one's a lost cause. Let's see. There, I like that better. And another fun thing, I'm gonna show you. You can just, if you're feeling like it's lacking in interest and dimension, and you don't really know what to do about it, but you want to do something, you get your brush wet, and you just drop in water. And as it dries, it will do cool things like these leaves have done. I might kind of add some green to that one too. All right. There we go. Dry. Okay. I'm gonna take this. Actually, I'm gonna use my napkin for the first time. It was kind of wet. I'm gonna do my up and down thing again because we're gonna want the thinnest line we can. and we're gonna pick a spot that's kind of in the center, and everything is just gonna, all the lines are gonna come from that spot. So, you know. Okay. Ooh, that one got a little thick. Fun trick here that would have been maybe helpful at the beginning. If it's still wet, you can kind of just dab it. It's not gonna completely erase it, but you can lift color pretty easy. Cool. Now we'll go back here. I kind of waited for that to dry a little. I lifted that because I thought that the... Hey, I'm really sorry my iPad fell over at the end and all the recording got messed up at the end, but I mean, we were almost done, right? Sorry about that. I will put just like a picture of the finished product so that you can do your finishing touches. Thank you so much for painting with me. I had a great time. Good night.